With my 35 years of experience, our team at U.S. Asset Management can deliver professional investment management, financial planning to help you target your goals, and even specialized divorce financial analysis if you need it. We are here to help you make better decisions with your money. Call U.S. Asset Management today, and let's get to work in your financial future.
While paying lip service to peace and defense, Japan is actually speeding down the path of remilitarization by ramping up military expenditure, easing the export of lethal weapons, advancing the deployment of intermediate and long-range missiles, developing offensive military capability, hoarding sensitive nuclear materials, promoting the revision of its Pacific constitution, and even advocating that Japan should become a war-capable nation. In fact, Japan has torn off the mask of pacifist country all by itself. The international community must stay on high alert and should never allow Japanese militarism to return and menace the world again.
Ein gerechter und dauerhafter Frieden, der auch unsere Sicherheitsinteressen berücksichtigt. Dafür und deswegen unterstützen wir die Ukraine. Wir haben das gestern getan, wir tun das heute und wir tun das morgen, so lange wie es notwendig ist, liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen. Die Migrationswende ist eingeleitet, national und europäisch. Wir sehen einen klaren Rückgang der irregulären Einreisen sowohl nach Deutschland als auch nach Europa. Der Trend wird sich fortsetzen, wenn jetzt die GEAS-Reform in allen Mitgliedstaaten der Europäischen Union auch effektiv umgesetzt wird. Meine Damen und Herren, die Ukraine verteidigt nicht nur ihre Bürgerinnen und Bürger, nicht nur ihre Freiheit, sie verteidigt auch unsere Freiheit. Sie verteidigt die Freiheit und die Sicherheit in ganz Europa. Denn die Ukraine gehört zu Europa. Sie gehört auch in der längeren Perspektive zur Europäischen Union. Und meine Damen und Herren, liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen, seit der Verleihung des Karlspreises im Jahr 2022 an die Ukraine hat dieses Land bemerkenswerte Reformfortschritte geschafft. Und ich habe genau aus diesem Grund vor einigen Tagen eine assoziierte Mitgliedschaft in der Europäischen Union für die Ukraine vorgeschlagen. Das würde eine reguläre Teilnahme der Ukraine an den Treffen des Europäischen Rates und der Fachministerräte bedeuten.
Si ndodh që qysh prej vitesh, ata kanë pagat më të larta dhe pensionet më të larta në këtë rajon. Sepse e sollën turizmin në nivelin e turizmit të luksit. Pak gjëra mund të jenë krahasueshme me dallikun që turizmi në nivelin e luksit mund të jetë diçka kundër njerëzit, është një nga gjërat më të pazgjuara që mund të ndiset. Është e kundërta, sepse ajo çfarë sjell një turist në një resort luksoz është më shumë në kuptimin e të ardhurave për vendit dhe është shumë më pak në aspektin e turistnisë, të trafikut, të ndotjes e kështu me radhë. Turizmi luksoz është ai që e mbron një vend nga ajo çfarë mund t'i shkaktojë turizmi masiv, sepse turizmi masiv ka qenë një ambasador i shkëlqyer për Shqipërinë. Flisni për mjedisin. Është gjë e mirë. Le të flasim për mjedisin. Flamingot. A e dini se kur nisën të ktheheshin flamingot në Shqipëri? Sepse nuk ishin. Kur unë erdha në qeveri, kur ne morëm qeverin, nuk ishte atje flamingo. Pse? Sepse Shqipëria ishte vendi nxehtë i gjuetisë palishme. ne humbëm shumë prej jetës tonë të egrë për shkak të gjuetisë palishme. Dhe ndërkohë flamingot bashkë me pelikanët e të tjerë nisën të ktheheshin pak vite pasi vendosëm moratorium në Shqipëri duke shpallur gjuetin të palishme për 10 vjet. Ne miratuam një moratorium. Arsyeja pse bota është kaq e entuziazmuar për këtë është për shkak të Donald Trumpit, sepse nuk besoj që flamingot në Shqipëri do të kishin bërë një trazim kaq të madh nëse nuk do të ishte një rast për t'i shkuar pas Donald Trumpit. Po kjo nuk ka të bëjë me Donald Trumpin. Kur Jared Kushner dhe Ivanka Trump erdhi këtu, nuk ishte ende e qartë nëse Donald Trumpi do të çohej në burg apo do të shkonte në shtëpinë e bardhë.
The Prime Minister has made any mistakes in how he's worked with the United States on Iran?
Look, he's certainly gotten some things wrong, but fundamentally,
like what?
Well, I think that those conversations sometimes are better left in private. But what I would say is that he's been a good partner. We're going to keep on working together. But where interests diverge, the United States is going to pursue the best interests of our nation, and that's how it's going to be.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has handled his relationship with President Trump and the United States?
Well, I think Prime Minister Netanyahu, look, he governs a country that has obviously been a very close partner of the United States. But even when we've been close partners, sometimes we have interests that are perfectly aligned, and sometimes we have interests that are misaligned. And what I've seen with the Prime Minister is that he aggressively asserts the interests of his country. Sometimes that means we're on the same page, and sometimes it means that we're not. And I think that our job as an administration, and certainly what the president has done, has been very clear about what is in our best interest. We have to fundamentally be focused on what is in the United States' best interest. So they've been a great partner in a lot of ways, but we also have to focus on what is in America's best interest. And where that diverges, we unfortunately, for the Israelis, have to choose the side of the American people, which we always do.
Welcome back to the SCIF. I am still on the road. We'll be back in the studio on, well, actually, probably maybe Monday. We'll see. A lot going on. Maybe some Department of War travel. We're not really sure. Want to say hello to the crew in the chat. You're cleared hot. Check out whatfinger.com. Great aggregator site that posts a lot of our content. We are at war, a new phase of the war. And I just want to go into that today and talk about where we are. And we've got the guy to do that, Brent Beecham, is going to join us, my alum from the U.S. Air Force Academy, F-15 pilot, former in the Gulf War, where my time frame, and also a lot of experience in the Middle East. So we're going to discuss everything that's going on there. You saw Albania in the cold open. That is ongoing. We'll talk about that probably next week more. We may have somebody from the Balkans to come over and discuss. The EU and Ukraine, the EU is still pushing war with Ukraine. You saw Merz there wanting to continue to support Ukraine at all costs. They want a war with Russia, and we're working hard with Pete Blaber to prevent that. You also saw China talking about things. China's been very quiet. They are very vulnerable with this oil situation, and I want to talk with Brent about that. And we'll probably have Tom Teague back on next week to discuss all of that and the geopolitics and financial market issues relating to that. So we're in a new phase of the war. Let's do a mission brief. I'm your host, Todd Wood. Today's June 11th. This is your mission brief. Trump says we will take Kharg Island. I want to dig into that with Brent Beecham here in the second segment. Carnage on I-95. Another foreigner that doesn't speak English. He killed 5 people on I-95 in Virginia. That's on cdm.press. Continuing destruction of the Orthodox Church in Estonia this time. And Connecticut commies pissed about ICE cameras, but they don't care about surveillance cameras. They love the flock cameras, but just not any cameras on ICE. Interesting concept. And the business of homelessness in Miami Beach. So we got a lot to talk about today, a lot to go through. We're going to be right back after this break. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be lit. Be right back.
Every day, your data is being tracked, collected, and sold, often without you even realizing it. Big tech companies control your devices, your apps, and the information you share. From your messages to your browsing habits, everything is being monitored and stored. Over time, we've traded privacy for convenience, and most people don't even question it. But what if you could take that control back? That's where Mark 37 comes in. Mark 37 provides privacy-focused phones, laptops, and tablets designed to give you full control over your digital life. With secure systems, expert support, and simple tools, they make it easier to step away from constant tracking and data collection. Because privacy isn't just a feature, it's a fundamental choice. It's about protecting your data, your freedom, and your future. Take back control of your digital life with Mark 37.
And by the way, I wanted to say I'm starting my journey with Sean. I'm going to be getting a Ghost phone and then upgrading to a Ghost computer soon, because I am going to unplug for the Matrix. And you can follow me along on my journey. So mark37.com/CDM is where you want to go to do that. Find the webinar, sign up for the webinar, and learn everything you need to know to get started. And then you can also sign up for a free 30-minute consultation on privacy there at mark37.com/CDM. But I'm looking forward to it, and I have been worried about privacy for some time. So I'm going to be taking the plunge and changing my life and unplugging from the Matrix, and I'm really looking forward to it. So maybe you can join me.
A warm welcome here at the National Press Club. Welcome to the journalists, welcome to the Embraer team, and welcome to the other guests that we have here. Going to announce, and as some of you guessed it right when they came in, the first E2 order by an American operator. And that operator is Avello. We believe this is really a strategic shift to unlock profitability for the customer. I'm very pleased that we have Andrew Levy here as the CEO of Avello, and I'm very pleased to give the stage to share a little bit more about what Avello is going to do with the E2 195. Thank you very much.
Couldn't be more excited to be here as part of this historic announcement. We have such a great cultural fit as companies, so we're very, very excited to be Embraer's newest customer. We launched our airline in April of 21, and our target is focusing on small secondary airports of large metro areas. We've carried over 8 million customers since we started on 63,000 flights. And we've done all these things with 1,200 of the greatest crew members I could ever imagine having, and many of them are here with me today. This is the right airplane for us. It's going to open up opportunities for us that no other aircraft can serve. The best thing about the airplane, of course, is you will not find a middle seat on this airplane. It doesn't exist. We won't have any to offer. It's going to be the best cabin in the United States, and we're so excited about that. This is going to elevate our experience to the highest level, and we think our customers are absolutely going to love the airplane.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Welcome back to the SCIF. You know, I was always 500 feet and below in my military career, but I've got a guy who knows the realm above that, which is completely different, by the way. You're not worried about hitting trees at 200 knots, but you're worried about missile fire the size of telephone poles. So anyway, I want to bring in Brent Beecham, my alum from the U.S. Air Force Academy. How you doing, Brent? You ready for that reunion coming up? 40 years,
yeah,
man.
40 years. Who knew?
Oh my gosh. So I want to start with the oil. Trump came out yesterday and said that, and I didn't quite get, maybe you have more insight, I'm not sure, but he said they've been taking oil covertly from Kharg Island. Are they just mean tankers coming through, or is there something else going on?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's that they're getting oil from Kharg Island. Maybe the Iranians were. I don't think anybody's actually landed and started taking oil. I think it's like the tankers left Kharg on Iranian tankers, and then we captured them. I think that's what their intent was.
Well, there's obviously been a big operation talking about below 500 feet. I mean, you've got A-10s, you've got AH-64s, probably other aircraft, maybe some Task Force 160 helicopters in there. They've got armed Black Hawks and all kind of other stuff, the AH-6s to really go after a lot of these small boats and missiles, because that's a huge coastline, and it's got a lot of rocky outcrops and caves and stuff where you can hide little boats and fast boats that have missiles on them. So I think that's what's been going on. Any thoughts on that? Yeah,
I mean, obviously we're spending a lot of time trying to prevent them from disrupting, traffic that's coming through the Strait of Hormuz, and that's, A-10 was classic for that. I've not been seeing a whole lot of information that's come out. I think they're trying to tamp down on how we're actually doing this, but obviously we've been sneaking tankers through and getting traffic through there without with minimal disruption. And then, of course, these attacks the last few days were focused on that whole, the whole strait area from Bandar Abbas, Qasem Island, all the different outposts that are along that Iranian coast that where the choke point is. So I think we beat them back a bit. That's helped us. Now, there's a lot of questions about how this Apache got shot down.
Yeah.
On one hand, they're saying, well, it was a drone that hit it. It may have been, honestly, it may have been us trying to shoot down a drone. The drone exploded. I've seen some airplanes taken down that way. I think in the
you mean they were trying to shoot down a drone, and that fire from that explosion hurt the AH-64 is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think the Ukrainians might have lost an airplane that way, where they shot down a drone and they got fragged by the explosion and you get close enough to have to shoot one of those things. It's not a small warhead.
Yeah,
it's possible that's what happened, because it really wasn't. The Iranians denied it, which you would think they would we shot down an Apache. But obviously that set off a whole chain of events and over the last few days, and I guess it's kind of calmed itself down. Oil's down a little bit today. It's under $90.
Well, you mentioned getting fragged. That's how our Soul Medal of Honor winner in Vietnam out of the Air Force Academy, he launched dropped a non-guided bomb and exploded right under the aircraft. And so that does happen. There's other reports that a drone lodged in the middle between the pilots. That's a small area. That was a Shahed drone. It'd be like a Volkswagen carrying a Mack truck. I can't picture that, man. I think you're probably right. Some kind of fragment or something.
Well, you laugh, but when we did live fires down off the coast of Panama City Beach, we had non-warhead missiles because they wanted to test guidance and that kind of thing. And we were flying against an F-100 drone, and the AIM-7 actually hit the wing and lodged itself in the wing, and they landed this drone. We went out and looked at it. So this missile just had impaled itself on the wing of this airplane. So there's some interesting. If the warhead doesn't go off and it hits the cockpit area and this didn't explode, who knows? There's all kinds of.
Yeah. Well, Brent, you're dating both of us talking about F-100 drones. Dude, Do you have some, I don't know, B-36s in there too somewhere? Oh my! It's funny. Just in our lifetime, how much aviation has changed. I mean, back in the day, when we were at the academy, we knew about F-100s, and that was a Vietnam era plane, and not anymore. I remember when I landed at Elmendorf, they were still using I forget the nomenclature. It was this really old fighter that they had droned, and the F-15s were using them for target practice. Yeah. And it was interesting.
Well, that's what we were doing, was a QF-100. It was they turned them into drones. Now they start shooting down F-4s, but when I was leaving, I'm like, oh, how tragic.
Yeah. No, that was, I don't know how effective the F-4 was, but it was cool looking, man. It was mean looking airplane. So we got oil coming out. They're disabling a lot of tankers.
Right.
So I think they're like shutting down Iranian flow and trying to keep our flow of Oman.
Yeah.
And but I don't think it's enough oil at this point still getting through.
Right.
Because the markets are still not real satisfied. It looks like Trump's going to take Kharg Island. He said it this morning. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know what he means exactly by we're going to take Kharg Island. We're going to put troops on the ground. Obviously, the vulnerability, and we've seen this in Lebanon, and we've seen it in Ukraine. Yeah. Vulnerability to FPV drones that can go take out guys. We better be prepared for that if that's the case. But I think it's one more threat. I know I've personally become frustrated with Trump over the last couple of weeks with, we're going to give you 48 more hours and then we're going to do something and nothing happens. And, we're getting close and then we're not getting close. And I think this is maybe one last warning for them. We're done. If you don't come to the table today, we're going to do something drastic. And that may be the threat, and maybe we're prepared for it. I hope that it doesn't come to that. On the other hand, I don't want another JPOA, sort of agreement with Iran, because the Iranians are not going to comply, and we found that out, and to go back into that same regime that we had before of inspections and them dodging and hiding and whatnot. I don't think we need to go down that path again.
So there's been a lot of Iranian attacks on the Gulf nations, and I even saw something this morning that may target. They're talking about targeting Starlink ground stations in the Gulf.
Yeah,
I mean that's infrastructure destruction that will take a long time to rebuild, and that's going to really impact the Gulf nations. So, has it been effective?
Well, so the interesting thing is that the Iranians, they'll fire 10, 20, 30 ballistic missiles. Maybe one of them gets through. They're not very effective. Our air defenses over the last 10 years have become unbelievably robust. And you saw that Israel I think they pioneered it, really. If you look at Iron Dome and Arrow missiles and whatnot, and the THAAD on our end with Patriot variants that have come along, and we've gotten really, really good at it. I think the Iranians kind of shot enough to say, well, we did something, and they can show launches that we're attacking military bases, and they come up with all these great things about how they hit so many targets, but in all reality, they're not very effective. So I think it's a little bit of a mind game right now.
A little bit of psychological operation, right?
Yeah, we blow up some stuff, they respond, we threaten, we go back to the table and we go back to the cycle again. But we need to get this done. Trump just has got to make this happen, because he's losing support amongst MAGA Republicans. He's losing the political the battle for the hearts and minds here in America. It's a little bit of fatigue going on now. If we had set out, and I've seen people say, well, we've got to treat this like World War II, we got to win to the end. We never set that out as the objective from the beginning, so you can't really now change that. And of course the Congress you know,
Mhm.
did the little, you know, War Powers Act, you know, vote the other day that went against Trump. It was meaningless, but I think that, you know, with midterms and all that coming, we're in a place now where we have to solve this, and the Iranians see that. But that, you know, the brushback with 2 days of bombing, I think it let them know, you know what, you're in no position to defend yourselves against us. We can come in, and Israel, we held back for now, but the Israelis are, you know, chomping the bit to blow them up as well.
That, speaking of Israel, it came out that was reported, I haven't seen it confirmed, that there was like not just command elements, but like brigades of 82nd Airborne on the ground in Israel that were deployed there. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, no, they deployed for, you know, exercise or whatever they decided it was the excuse for doing that. But maybe that's again, the element of, hey, we're putting people here that can take Kharg Island, and, you know, we got Marines, we got 82nd Airborne, we're coming your way. You have to put them in place to actually have a threat that he can use. Yeah, otherwise, now, you know, of course, if they just show up there and they do exercises, there's some great bases in the south of Israel to do practice. You know, I spent some time in the south at those bases.
Yeah, they could do airfield seizures, all kind of stuff.
Exactly.
That's what the 82nd does.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, the other part of all this negotiation is what's happening with Lebanon, and the you know, the risk is the Iranians say there's a correlation between any kind of ceasefire and deal and what's going on in Lebanon. And then Erdogan from Turkey has also in the last few days said, we're going to stand up for our Arab brothers in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, if anybody attacks them. So, you know, you got the Iranians sticking their nose in Lebanon. You have the Turks that are doing the same. And the Lebanese are saying, we just want to get on with our lives. And, you know, there was some noise the other day about how Israel had bombed Tyre, which is mostly a Christian city, but Hezbollah had embedded themselves intentionally in the middle of a Christian city. They evacuated it, they bombed Hezbollah, and then they said, okay, everybody go back. So it's a tangled web. And it's going to take a little bit of unwinding to make this happen. And Iran's obviously the first piece that has to happen. If that happens, Lebanon could maybe get solved. And if Lebanon gets solved, then Israel goes back to peace with Lebanon. I think they've kind of, you know, like accepted that Syria is just, you know, like they're controlling southern Syria for the most part. The Turks are controlling northern Syria, and the HTS has got Damascus and big cities in the central. It's a complicated world right now, and I think anybody who doesn't pay attention is you know, risking getting caught by surprise by the next time this thing catches fire over there.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned Turkey, and by the way, we'll be on the ground in Lebanon again in a few weeks. So CDM was leading the way as always. Turkey,
ballsy move, by the way.
Well, you know, somebody's got to do it. I have a history of that, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm aware.
So
can you send some money? I need some rescue from you.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, that was intense. Turkey. So what is going to happen there? The Turks want, I mean, they're talking, we're going to confront Israel. Let's just say it. That's what they're saying. And Israel's saying we're going to have to confront Turkey. Right. So where are we going with this, do you think?
So I have an uncle who has spent quite a bit of time there and has a lot of friends. And I asked him just this week, he's in town, and I asked him, I said, what's going on in Turkey? He said, well, Erdogan is the hero of the masses. And but the people who are, you know, the intellectuals, the people who are in government are not so hot about this idea of, you know, confrontation with Israel or Syria or, you know, whatnot. So, of course, Erdogan is
well, they control Golani, right? I mean, don't they? I would think. What do you think?
Well, yeah, maybe. You know, I don't think anybody controls Giuliani. You know, everybody's got there's little side alliances between different factions. And one thing I do know is Giuliani hates Hezbollah, because Hezbollah killed thousands of them, and they killed tens of thousands of Hezbollah. So that actually, as much as I don't like having, you know, an ISIS guy in charge of Syria, the fact that they are now blocking weapons transfers to Lebanon cuts off the ground route to Iran. And so that's kind of, I think that's helped in some ways, as much as I hate of course, you know, he goes and he attacks the Druze in southern Syria. And then Israel gets involved in that. You know, it's a mess. But Erdogan, I think he's flexing. I don't think it's a real, I don't think he really thinks he can confront Israel. And, you know, I don't know what the Israeli appetite is to go to war with Turkey.
Yeah, that's a big bite to bite. So, but I do think Erdogan, you know, I mean, Trump even talked about this week that maybe we'll use Golani to attack Hezbollah in the south.
Right.
So anyway, all right, my friend. What's that?
Go figure. Anybody who thinks they know what's going on is fooling themselves, because I don't think they know what's going on.
I think you're right. All right, Brent. Thank you very well. No, hold on. Now that I got you, I forgot to ask about real estate.
Sure.
I got you on the phone. What do you see in the markets? There's a lot of conflicting information. You know, housing prices are coming down. Sellers are, you know, a lot of sellers coming on board. Where does this bottom out, or what are you seeing?
So it's right now stuck. Buyers are in the driver's seat, but they can't get, you know, mortgages, you know, anywhere around 6 or just under 6. They're back up over that. Inflation report came out yesterday and today, and we'll see what happens with the Fed. If the Fed just holds rates, because if you look at it really deeply, the PPI, core PPI was down slightly, but the PPI was up, and that's all fuel and all that. So all these fears about inflation, I think, are really temporary. It's fuel driven. That is what's holding up everything. You know, my wife is in real estate. She's got houses up for lease, houses up for sale. Nothing's happening. Quiet. Maybe that's just here in Atlanta, but I think it's pretty widespread that everybody's kind of just paused, waiting to see what happens.
Interesting. All right. Take care. We'll have you back. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. It depends on what happens. All right. Take care. Ciao.
First time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
I'm watching my friends gain more and more weight, and then eventually I got to tell you, this is a little dark, but bad diet literally killed my whole crew.
Wow.
Diabetes, a stroke. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's like, you had a stroke? You're not even 50 years old. You guys got to quit eating this stuff. Your body knows what's what. You're not conscious of this. But that's why people will go to the refrigerator and they'll grab this and that and the other and put together this outrageously elaborate combination of foods. Your body's trying to reach balance. Unbeknownst to us, our bodies are always trying to reach homeostasis. You can't eat all of this stuff and expect to live a long time. And one thing led to another, and I went, forget this. We're going to make our own product. So we partnered with one of the world's top 3 biochemists where nutrition-specific study is concerned. I said, all I want is the best nutritional and immune support product in the world. So we mixed it in yogurt. It's a powder. I got a bag of it here. I keep one on the console all the time, just so I can show people.
Yeah.
And it's a powder. Now, this is not candy. This is hardcore nutrition. And sugar is an enemy. And most people do not know that the reason these bellies are showing up on people all over the place, your body makes fat to store the toxins it can't get rid of. So it just puts them over here. But I can tell you this, you take this for 30 days and then lay off of it for 2 or 3 days, and you'll go, good grief, give me some more. Skin, nails, hair growing back. Cut yourself and it heals in half the time.
Put silver wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best. He'll be a man. He'll test one day. Have him win the Green Beret.
All right, welcome back to the SCIF. I want to give a shout out to Mark37.com, which is our fantastic partner when it comes to phone storage and basically confronting the matrix and unplugging from the matrix. Your phone isn't just a phone. It's a tracking device you're carrying voluntarily. And buying a different phone doesn't automatically fix that. Going ghost is a lifestyle choice. Same conviction it takes to homestead, to homeschool, to choose what goes into your body. Mark 37's Ghost phone and Ghost laptop are built for this, but the team will tell you straight, the device is the starting line, not the finish line. Education and personal accountability are what actually move the needle. Go to mark37.com/CDM, free webinar. That's where it starts. So mark37.com/CDM and start your process to get private. And on that note, let me just bring up this. I saw this morning. So UK plans to jail tech CEOs who refuse to spy on every phone. They're coming, people. This is in Europe. It's probably already here. But funny enough, if you go down to the bottom of this article, it talks about Graphene OS, the open source privacy and security hardened mobile operating system, has laid bare how Apple and Google are weaponizing hardware-based attestation to eliminate competition and lock users into their approved devices and operating systems. So this is what runs on the Ghost phone is Graphene OS. So Mark 37's way ahead of the game. All right, let's talk about a few stories. Trump says we will take Kharg Island, U.S. to put in ground troops. Now, we've highlighted with Brent Beecham right there the vulnerability that ground troops along the Iranian coast will have. The FPV drone issue, which is first-person drone issue, where these are guided by fiber optic cables a lot of the time, so they can't be jammed. And you've got a guy back in FPV means you got a guy back behind, in a safe position in a bunker or something like that. And he's guiding this like virtual reality. He's seeing what the drone sees. So he just flies it into a human or into a tank or whatever he can spot on the battlefield. These are extremely dangerous. Brent mentioned the Israelis are having a tough time in southern Lebanon against this. They're losing soldiers almost daily. And you saw what happened in Ukraine. This has been a huge issue. So think about 100,000 U.S. troops on Kharg Island and dudes in boats with drones or ballistic missiles or larger drones like the Shahed or whatever. So this is a big issue, and I hope Trump and the military have thought it through, but you just need to be aware of it because it could happen. All right. The business of homelessness in Miami Beach. Fabian Basabi, who's a representative state rep for the area, Why he wrote an article on this in one of the local papers, and they removed the article. Why was my article removed, and why is Miami Beach still avoiding the debate? This is Fabian and his article. The business of homelessness is thriving in Miami Beach. Outcomes are not, despite the taxpayer-funded propaganda machine. And then they removed the article. So what he's saying is that this is a huge business. This is millions and millions and millions of dollars that are in California. It's billions of dollars. Guess what? People are getting rich off the homeless. So we're going to create a homeless program, help the homeless, but the homeless are still there, 2 years later when you spent $1 billion. This is the business of homelessness that Fabian is talking about. You can go to the Miami Independent, our paper in Florida, which is extremely impactful. That's miamiindependent.com. Let me find that for you. Oh, where is it? There it is. miamiindependent.com. Great paper. If you're in the Florida, South Florida, or even Florida, or even southern area of the U.S., this is a great paper for information on what's happening in that region. So check that out. Maybe we'll get Fabian on to discuss that. It's a huge subject, and it's not just in Florida, it's everywhere. All right. I-95, carnage in I-95 as a driver with low English proficiency kills 5. Just keeps happening. What has happened, these Democrats have brought all these people in. They give them CDLs, commercial driver's license, with no English, just hand them out like candy. More open border craziness to bring to an end. To become a naturalized citizen, one has to show English proficiency, while illegal aliens should not be driving in America, period. So maybe this is going to come to a head, but it's the consequence of the Biden, invasion, and it's really hurting our country and killing people. On our Eastern European site, tsarism.com, that's TARIZEM.com, the obligations of the Estonian Orthodox Church to cut ties with Moscow after Supreme Court ruling. So again, you see a coordinated attack on the Orthodox Church in Europe and in Ukraine. The Ukrainian Orthodox Church had no ties with Moscow except in a vague, theocratic way, but there was no administrative ties. Although they destroyed the church anyway. In my view, this is a continuing destruction of the Orthodox Church, Christianity in Europe. It's happening in Romania, it's happening in Armenia, it's happening in Lebanon, and it's happening in the Baltics now. So this is an ongoing story, and maybe we'll have to go to Estonia and talk to some priests there, because big issue. All right, let's look at in Connecticut, the ConnecticutSentinel.com. CT public cries over ICE cameras, but what about the activists who chase and film agents to shield criminals and other surveillance? The commies in Connecticut don't like cameras on their interaction with ICE because they're hurting people, but they're very hypocritical. So check out ConnecticutSentinel.com, another really impactful paper that we're very proud of in the Northeast. ConnecticutSentinel.com, spelled with a C, the old revolutionary way. All right, I want to show you something we've been doing. We re-upped our Instagram channel because we were kicked off Facebook and all the Meta platforms a while ago, and we started back up. And we're doing some AI quick videos on just subjects. So I want to play this, and then I want you to give me feedback online or over email or in the chat what you think of this. We're going to perfect it and make it a little better, but we're starting to run a lot of these because it's very, and this is an avatar of me doing something that I write. So this is not AI reporting, but it's just an easy way to get a video out to describe a situation. And I'd like to know what your thoughts are.
Today, during an interview on Meet the Press, President Trump declared he may allow the Syrian regime run by former terrorist Golani to target Hezbollah positions in the south of Lebanon, the proxy army of Iran. With close to 2 million Sunni refugees still in Lebanon, displaced from Syria during the recent civil war, who are paid to stay in Lebanon by globalist European NGOs, the Christian community in Lebanon is very concerned that arming the Sunnis will further destroy the Christian presence in the Levant, as has happened in Iraq and Syria. CDM will be on the ground in Lebanon soon to report directly from Beirut and surrounding areas on the issue. Puts TDM.press in your daily scan. Global news without the globalist spin.
It's not perfect, I know, but it's a start, and we want to be very productive. We want to spend our resources wisely. So if we can put out a lot of those videos on Instagram. By the way, you saw yesterday we're banned from TikTok. Isn't that amazing? Just completely banned. We put out we put that video out on TikTok, and we were immediately banned. So let me see if I can bring that up here. Where is that? I guess we may have deleted it. But anyway, I was going to show you the video or the image of TikTok banning us, but they banned us because we put that video out. So, but what do you think of that Instagram video? Do you like it? Would you like to see more of that? You know, I can go in and type a 2-3 sentence script and put out a video literally within minutes and get it all over. And it's just an easy way for us and the whole team. We may make other avatars of other reporters, but it's an easy way for the whole team to get information out and use technology, but you're getting real reporting. All right, so that's all we got today. We're going to end the show early. I've got to catch a plane. I don't know how tomorrow's going to go. We'll let you know. But thank you for joining us today on the SCIF. We'll be back. Please sign up for our no ad subscriptions. It's my.cdm.press. That's my.cdm.press. You get access to all of our content with no advertisers or with no pop-up ads, no videos. That's very effective for us. Sign up for our socials, CDM1 on Rumble. Subscribe on YouTube, please. Even if you don't watch us there, go to YouTube and sign up, subscribe to CDM and CDM_press on X. All right, my friends, thank you for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care.